I would say that from a perspective of the impact of AI in K through 12 in general, to some degree, there's nothing to do it but get in the boat and like start paddling, right? And not with a sense of, I'm doing all this wrong, I just have to do a particular thing, but like, nobody knows the exact right way to use artificial intelligence in your class, right? So try to find some mentors who can help you kind of get started with things and then explore with your students. When you do so, you do have to have a mindset that's a little bit different from, we're getting the students ready for this next standardized test, right? Because there's a lot that we won't know about how it goes. There needs to be a lot of back and forth conversation about what's possible. This is not just something where we are bolting on something new and K through 12 ought to be able to work 5% better. This is a thing that's going to be transformative technology. And I would say that right now, probably the teachers that I interact with that are the most focused on it and the most freaked out are the English teachers. My wife is actually an English teacher. I wouldn't say that she's freaked out, but like a lot of them, it's like, wait a minute, how can we do process papers at this point? How can we do any kind of writing that's not written by hands? And from a perspective of catching people at cheating, these are valid concerns, absolutely, and I don't mean to dismiss them. But on the other hand, what's possible now? So in education, we have something called Bloom's taxonomy that starts at the lowest levels with knowledge, understanding, recognition, and goes up to creativity, evaluation, application. I would say that in my experience in education, we do tend to get stuck on the lower rungs of that. And the reason is if you have standardized tests, you are trying to make sure all of your students get the basics. Helping a particular student get super advanced while other people fall behind doesn't make sense. So we're kind of trapped down there, and it's not the worst thing in the world, but it is a little bit frustrating. Well, from a perspective of writing now, you actually have the opportunity to jump up to the top of the Bloom's taxonomy. When it comes to people just editing their own words, like students, they don't like it, right? They find it to be tedious, boring, cringy, all of these things. But you can have start an AI off with an outline of what you're thinking, have it flesh some stuff out with you, and then start improving it. Or you can start writing and then let it give you advice on certain things and improve from there. I see the future with AI as a situation where everybody has their own little army of AI minions, so that if there's something that they want to do, they can figure out how to do it more effectively than they probably could have before. And so that's where I want us to get students to be thinking about things. What do they want to do with it? As opposed to, what am I going to be tested on? Now, realistically, we can't just flip from one way of thinking to the other way of thinking entirely. But even giving the students a taste of doing it this other way, I think it expands their horizons and lets them see what else is possible. And I feel the same way for the teachers themselves. So I think that teachers everywhere on all levels, they're going to be exploring with AI, exploring with their students, and every good buddy is going to be learning a lot. And I think that's good for us, quite frankly. In terms of teaching AI and computer science, I think on the K through 12 level, that's going to be a slower process. I think that people are going to largely be following along with whatever the AP courses are saying right now. And until that changes, they're not going to change it that much. But that change will come too, I expect.